Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Beanie and welcome back to another top 10 video. Today we're going to be going over the top 10 shortstops in Diamond Dynasty. But before we get started, I did make a slight oversight in my last video whenever I did the top 10 third baseman. I left Edgar Martinez off the list, and it wasn't because he didn't deserve a spot on the list. I just simply kind of overlooked him. Maybe I was thinking he played first base or something like that, but I totally just overlooked him. I apologize for that. If I would have put him on the list, he wouldn't have been super high. He probably would have come in around 8th or 9th, somewhere in there. But I do apologize for that. He would probably make the top 10. So yeah, I'll try not to miss anybody else in the future. But you know, there are a lot of freaking players in Diamond Dynasty. You know, every now and then it might happen. But anyways, let's get into the top 10 shortstops. Coming in at number 10 is the 96 overall Jose Reyes. And this card is really just because he doesn't have, the reason he's not higher is just because he doesn't have as much power as a lot of the other guys on this list, and it does kind of show in game for whatever reason. Even though he has a very good swing, he has a two-handed compact swing, and he's a switch hitter, his power, he just doesn't seem to generate as much exit velo as you would think, because 62 and 58, that's not terrible. I mean, you know, it's below average, but it's not horrific or anything. But his contact is fine, 76, 97 with 91 vision. Your PCI size is going to be fine. He's extremely fast, so he's going to be beating out a ton of ground balls and stuff like that. And he has very decent fielding to go along with it. Overall, it's a great card. I just wish that, you know, maybe his power showed up just a little bit more, and, you know, every now and then he could generate 100-mile-per-hour plus exit velos, but it just doesn't really happen a ton for me with this card, and I have used this card in games, so I do have some hands-on experience with him, but yeah, not my favorite shortstop, but definitely not a terrible one by any stretch. Coming in at number 9 is the 98 overall Barry Larkin, and it's kind of the same deal with this card as it is the Jose Reyes. Versus righties, he just doesn't seem to generate that much power or exit velo despite the fact that he has a very good swing. This isn't a problem versus lefties. I could crush the ball versus lefties. He was always very, very effective in that capacity. He also has a lot of speed to go along with it, perfect stealing, and very good defense. Overall, oh my god, I just burped right there. Good lord. But overall, it's a very, very solid card. Maybe a card that you would want to stick on your bench as like a platoon if you had, let's say, maybe the 91 Didi Gregorius at shortstop or something like that. Maybe this guy would be a good guy to kind of pair with him. But overall, as a starter, I think he's playable. I mean, 97 with 51 power, that's not horrible. He has a two-handed compact swing, so that's going to be fine. He has 95 vision to go along with that 97 contact, so your PCI is going to be fine. He's not like super short or anything like that. There are a lot of things to like about this card, and man, if he had like 70 power versus righties, this card may be like one of the best cards in the game, but that 51 power versus righties just kind of keeps him from being, you know, like a top 5-ish type player. So yeah, that keeps him at number 9 on the list. Coming in at number 8 is the 93 overall Hanley Ramirez, and man, this card looks like an offensive monster, but it does have a lot of issues that you have to deal with. First of all, his defense is going to be awful. At shortstop or at third base, he's going to have very, very below average defense over there. You're not getting this card for his defense, though. You're getting him for his offensive prowess, and he does kind of run into problems there, too. He does have a one-handed long swing, which is probably one of the worst swings in the game. So, you know, you are going to have to deal with that issue, and he is a righty, so it can affect him more than it would a lefty. But I will say that it doesn't seem to hurt him as bad as it does some other cards who have the one-handed long swing. I can generate some power, and not every single ball I hit has a ton of topspin on it with this card. So he's not terrible. You know, and I think his attributes are just so good. I mean, 94, 94, 95, 99. That's incredible, and I think that it can sometimes overcome that, but if he would have, if he had a better swing, like if he had a two-handed long swing or something like that, this card would play much, much, much better. That's kind of disappointing because you really look at this card and think, man, this is probably the best hitting shortstop in the game, but in game situations, it doesn't really play out like that, in my opinion. But so that keeps him from being any higher. So the 93 Hanley Ramirez comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is a card that has very, very similar issues. He's not as good offensively as the Hanley Ramirez. They both have a one-handed long swing, so they're both kind of hampered by that. And this card doesn't have the offensive prowess that Hanley does, even though this card is still very, very good. 83-90 versus righties, 94-86 versus lefties. That's very, very passable. The big issue with this card is just the one-handed long swing, but the reason that I ended up putting it above the Hanley is that he plays elite level defense. He is going to be one of the best defensive shortstops in the game for you. But, you know, last year I would argue that the 99 Tulo was among the best cards in the game. You know, it was like him and A-Rod were the two best shortstops in the game, and there was a huge argument all year about who was better. But this 97 Tulo, man, the swing has kind of brought him down a little bit. Plus, they did kind of nerf his attributes a little bit from last year's version. So, not a bad card, definitely a very solid card, will play great defense, and he won't be he's not going to lay an egg offensively. He just has some issues that you'll have to battle through. So yeah, he comes in at number 7 on the top 10 shortstop list. Coming in at number 6 is the 99 Cal Ripken, and for the third player in a row, we have another one that has swing issues. He is another guy that has a one-handed long swing, and I know people tell me that I weight swing too heavily, but it can be vitally important. This Cal Ripken, for a lot of people this year, has played well below his attributes, what his attributes would indicate. And, yeah, I mean, you look at him, this card should be, without a doubt, the best shortstop in the game. But the swing just kind of keeps him from playing like that. I mean, 92, 83, 98, 99 with 98. I mean, it's freaking incredible. This card has incredible attributes. He plays elite level defense. There are very few things to dislike about this card other than his swing. And because his raw attributes are better than the Hanley and the Tulo, I had to put him above those. But that's why they're all kind of grouped in here together, is just because I feel like the people above them kind of play better in game time situations because you know, they don't generate as much topspin as these past three guys. So yeah, the 99 overall Cal Ripken coming in at number 6. At number 5, we have the 97 overall Ernie Banks, and I just acquired this card, and I've been, you know, playing around with him some, and I've been trying to figure out how I feel about him, and so far the results have been, I would say, mixed. Lot of good, lot of bad. Defensively, he's not as impressive as I thought. Even though he has a two-handed long swing, sometimes it does feel like he doesn't hit for as much power as I would like. But then other games I'll come in and he'll go 4 for 4 with 2 home runs and he'll just kill it. So I don't know. It's kind of a sporadic card. But overall, I would say he's very, very good. He's better than the guys that I've mentioned before. And I would definitely recommend it. If you have the stubs to go out and complete the NL, I would recommend getting this card and giving him a shot. Maybe it's just, but you know, he is kind of a recent card for me, and I haven't been playing like super well the past week. So maybe that has something to do with it. But yeah, overall, this card is just, it's very good. He plays, you know, above average defense, and he has a ton of power, big PCI, just a lot of things to like about this card. But yeah, he comes in at number 5. At number 4, we have the 99 overall Robin Yount card, and it was very, very close between him and the Ernie Banks, but I ended up giving the edge to Yount because he does play better defense, and he actually has a little bit of speed to where he could be somewhat of a threat on the base paths. Not, you know, a huge threat or anything, but, you know, you have to think about him on the, like, he could take a base every now and then, and he also has one of the biggest PCIs in the game with 96, 99, 95 vision. And he doesn't have to, you know, sell his power away either. He has 83, 85 power, very, very solid. He's not hampered by any swing issues or anything like that. Overall, it's a great card. You could even argue that this is a 5-tool card because he has the power, the contact, the fielding, the arm strength, and then like a little bit of speed to go along with it too. So very, very solid card, but he is quite expensive. I believe he's a Battle Royale reward, and it is very difficult to acquire. But if you ever get your hands on it, give it a try. You know, see how you like it. I just looking at his raw attributes, I like this card. I think that he would be a very effective player on your team. Getting into the top 3, we get into a player that whenever he first come out, I liked this card, but I wasn't like super stoked on him because we had other cards like the Hanley that we were thinking about, the Ernie Banks, the Cal Ripken. So I was like, you know, this card, whatever. But then I started to realize how important swing was this year. And Carlos Correa has one of the best swings in the game. It generates a ton of power. You can get a ton of cheap hits with this swing. It's the two-handed compact swing from the right-handed side. It's very similar to David Wright's, or from the left side like Corey Seager or someone like that. It's very, very, very effective, and he has fantastic raw attributes to back it up. 95-92 versus righties, 90-77 versus lefties. That is very, very solid. Plus, he can play second and third base, too, if you already have shortstop filled up and you're looking for a spot to put him. He has options, so that's always a good thing, too. His defense isn't as great as some of the guys I mentioned before. It's about average, and he doesn't have, like, a ton of speed to speak of or anything. It's not going to hurt you on the base paths, but he's just, okay. Overall, though, I think that this card could be one of the best right-handed offensive shortstops in the game. Arguably the best, but what? Actually, yeah, arguably, I think he's probably the best pure right-handed shortstop in the game. So yeah, he comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is everybody's kind of this is a fan favorite. Everybody really likes this 92 overall Corey Seager. There's just something about this card. Obviously he has a great swing just like the Correa, and it comes from the left side, which is also just great. I mean, it kind of reminds you of like Joe Mauer playing shortstop or something like that. He hits a ton of line drives. He has backspin. All the things that you want out of a player offensively. His defense isn't going to hurt you. And from a speed standpoint, he's kind of like the Correa, not going to hurt you, not going to kill you. And also like the Correa, he can play a variety of positions. I was kind of surprised when I looked at everything that I put this guy this high, but and a lot of people may accuse me of weighting swing too heavily whenever I talk about putting the 92 overall Corey Seager at number 2 above guys like the 99 Ripken, and I understand that argument, but I think that this guy's attributes play up so much because of his swing that I think a number 2 spot is actually justifiable for him. Plus, he's left-handed, which is kind of a rarity among shortstops. So just because that kind of is like a little curveball thrown to you, it's something a little different. I do think that adds a little bit of value to him too. So yeah, 92 overall Corey Seager at number 2. Coming in at number 1 is a card that's not even out yet. It's the 99 overall Jimmy Rollins, and this is going to be highly debatable, but I think I can justify it. This guy is a true 5-tool stud. He has elite defense. He has very, very good speed. He has very solid contact, very solid power, very solid vision. There's so many things to like about this card. Plus, he's a switch hitter, and he has a two-handed long swing, which means that his attributes are going to kind of play true to form. And the fact that he's a switch hitter is, going to it's going to give you an opportunity not to have an unbalanced lineup, because if you throw that Corey Seager in there, then you have to start thinking about, how many other lefties you have. Like, do you want to put the Joe Mauer in the game? Do you want to have the Ellsbury? Do you want to have the George Brett? All those types of questions you have to start to ask yourself. But with that switch hitter, that's why I value switch hitters so much, is that they don't create those problems. It's just like having a righty in your lineup, except he bats lefty whenever he needs to, and then he'll bat righty when he needs to. So I think that has a ton of value. value, and the fact that this guy hits both sides very, very effectively, and also plays great defense with elite speed, I think that it justifies him in the number 1 spot. And it does surprise me to some degree because he is a very short player, and typically I don't like short players. I find them very difficult to hit with, but I'm gonna give this guy a shot and see if I can work it out, because if I can, then I think I have the best shortstop in the game. But anyways, guys, that is going to do it for the top 10 list. This is by far the thinnest position outside of maybe catcher. It's very difficult to find a shortstop without any flaws whatsoever. I would honestly kind of suggest probably placing your created player at shortstop if you have all the other holes on your team filled. Like if you have the 99 Mauer at catcher, if you have Roberto Alomar at second base, all that kind of stuff, I would put my created player at shortstop. I think that's kind of where he belongs at the moment. So yeah, that is the top 10 shortstop list. Let me know in the comments. I know that this was kind of a screwy list. A lot of people may disagree with my picks, but this is just based off my personal experience, who I've had the most success with, who I think I'll have the most success with. But let me know in the comments what you think about this list. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I will see you guys later on. But until then, peace!